Pressure resumes on the presidency as the National Assembly transmits the electoral bill again to President Buhari for assent. Tonight we speak with Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State on these and some national issues. And our attention also will be tonight on the Edo Assembly crisis and the issue of the elected members who are now on the sidelines 2 years and counting. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Nyesom Wike in Abuja. Before we get talking with our guest tonight on the program, let's tell you that the Boot political party will not be fielding a candidate to run for the Ekiti State governorship election. Well, this is according to the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, who said this at a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, which was held in Abuja to review security arrangements for the area council elections in Abuja slated for the 12th of February 2022.
In the case of the Ekiti governorship election, the period earmarked on the timetable and schedule of activities for party primaries ended 3 days ago, on 29th January 2022. All 18 political parties served notices for their party primaries to elect their candidates for the election and invited the Commission to monitor them. One party adopted the direct method for electing its candidate, while 16 parties opted for the indirect method. However, from our field report, the Boot party did not hold its primary election at any venue known to and monitored by the Commission. Consequently, we do not expect the Boot party to nominate a candidate for the Ekiti State governorship election. On this note, let me once again warn political parties to strictly adhere to the Commission's timelines for all activities, including the conduct of primaries and nomination of candidates. These timelines are firm and fixed. No deviation or violation will be allowed.
Well, that's the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Let's check out some of your political roundup stories. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has officially announced its candidate for the Ekiti governorship election. The candidate and some leaders of the party in Ekiti State were in a meeting with the national leadership of the party in Abuja today. Take a listen to what the national chairman of the PDP, Senator Yocha Ayu, said at that meeting.
Part of all disagreements which are healthy in the party, we were able to produce a very experienced politician from Ekiti State as our candidate for the governorship election, which are coming up in June. Sikola Wole, as everybody has said, is an experienced politician who has worked very hard for this party at different levels, both in the party executive and in the state executive. So we think he will hit the ground running because he's going to be the next governor of Ekiti State.
The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. The roundup is now ready for you. Take a listen to some of your political roundup stories.
The president has launched a 62.1 billion naira fund to improve efforts towards sustaining the HIV response. address killer diseases, and public health emergencies. Speaking at the launch of the HIV Trust Fund at the State House, the President promises to continue to prioritize health interventions to address killer diseases and public health emergencies. Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State has appealed to the federal government to urgently establish a military theater command similar to the situation in the Northeast to confront the insurgency that has bedeviled the 5 states in the Northwest geopolitical zone and Niger State. He says the creation of such a theater command will enable a holistic approach to counterinsurgency operations across the affected states, as well as enhance coordination of the resources of the armed forces. The House of Representatives is calling for speedy dispensation of justice in the case of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, who was kidnapped and killed by a teacher in Kano State. The House believes that this will serve as a deterrent to others. Meanwhile, the House has adopted the report of its Customs Committee following its investigation in the alleged extrajudicial killings by the Nigerian Customs and found the agency culpable.
Will deserve as deterrent to others while similar motives.
The ruling party in Ebonyi State, the All Progressives Congress, has denied the accusation leveled against the government that the state arm of the Southeast security outfit Ebubeagu is being used by the government to intimidate the people. Chairman of the APC in the state, Honorable Stanley Okure Mega, made the clarification in a reaction to the People's Democratic Party in Ebonyi, which accused the government of being involved on the alleged high-handedness of some members of Ebubeagu in parts of the state.
Citizens of Ebonyi now prefer calling Ebubeagu to come because you get that response immediately.
The Boot Party will not be fielding a candidate to run for the Ekiti state governorship elections come June the 18th this year. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made this announcement at the meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, which was held in Abuja, to review security arrangements for the area council elections in Abuja, slated for February the 12th this year. According to the INEC chairman, all 18 political parties participating in the Ekiti governorship polls served notices to INEC asking the commission to monitor their primaries. However, the Boot Party did not hold its primary election at any venue known to or monitored by INEC, and so will not be expected to field a candidate come the governorship elections in June.
These timelines are firm and fixed. No deviation or violation will be allowed.
Let's tell you that the leadership of the PDP has also met with leaders and major stakeholders of the party in Osun State. The aim of the meeting was to resolve some of the leaking crises in the party after the screening exercise of some of the aspirants while they await the primaries. Now, the National Assembly has transmitted the re-amended electoral bill to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. Well, we understand that this happened yesterday evening. And today, the National Assembly caucus of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has called on President Buhari to sign the amended electoral bill into law without delay. The group made a call earlier today during its meeting with members of the party's Board of Trustees at the National Assembly. Senate Minority Leader Enyenaya Abaribe says that having bent backward as requested by President Buhari on the earlier rejected electoral bill, the amendment bill should be signed without any delay. Let's talk about this and the expectations on President Buhari's assent. I'm now being joined from Port Harcourt, Rivers State, by the Governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. You're one of those who have made comments about the president's action on the Electoral Act, at which it was passed on to him and he refused assent. This time around, it has been passed on to him again for his assent. What is your view and what are your expectations on the president this time around?
Well, sure, thank you very much. I don't buy. In the first place, I had argued before now that it is not the place of the National Assembly to direct any political party the method of choosing their candidates for elections. For me, I believe that that is purely internal affairs of the party. For me, it's as it may that in order not to derail our electoral process. The amendment have been made and then sent back to Mr. President. One good thing for me in that amendment, the amendment of the Electoral Act, is the inclusion of the card reader. For me, it is a major achievement that will reduce the level of violence, that will reduce the level of rigging in the electoral process. So if Mr. President, remember before now, this candidate was included, which Mr. President had before 2019 election rejected. Now again, the National Assembly in their wisdom had also included it in this amendment, say that there should be card reader and then the electronic transmission of the votes. So these are the major things that people are concerned that will show transparency, that will show that people are having confidence in our electoral process. If these two items are there, I can begin to believe that yes, we're going to get it right this time around. But I will also tell you the truth. I believe that there's also a kind of pressure on Mr. President not to sign because of the inclusion of the card reader and the electronic transmission. If Mr. President signs it, because the pressure is so overwhelming, and so their party is not happy, knowing that the inclusion of these clauses, whether you like it or not, with the way the APC is today, Nigerians do not want them back. And the only way they cannot bring themselves back to power is only by rigging. And if the card reader is removed and the electronic transmission of the votes are not there, then you know that there will not be election in 2023.
Vision of consensus was something that was mooted by President Buhari, and now it has been infused into the bill, which the president it's on the president's table for assent now. What does this mean from a politician point of view? The issue of the consensus. Well, your party used consensus in your national convention. Is it a good infusion, a good creation, or a good suggestion as made by the president?
Well, I do not know whether that was included by Mr. President. But you see, when he said consensus, there's nothing wrong in using consensus as a method of electing those who will represent the party in the various elections. Like you said, in our own national convention, what happened was that everybody sat together and tried to appeal to other people who may be willing to contest that election. And because of the interest of the party, all of them agreed not to run. And so Dr. Nyesom Wike emerged as the sole candidate. So the election became rancor-free, the election became orderly, and that's not wrong. Consensus comes when people are willing to make sacrifices. So consensus comes when people have the interest of the party above their own interest. You see, if you don't have people who can make sacrifice for the party, if you don't have people who can say, look, my interest cannot supersede that of the party. Therefore, for my party to move forward, for my party to be prepared to win this election, I'm ready to concede and not to contest. It happens, but I don't know. It depends on individuals. So it is difficult too, where you see people. You can't have a consensus, even if 90% of the people say, "Look, we want this person," and the other person said, "No, I will still consent." That is not a consensus, even if the person at about 90% may have chosen for that elective position. But I think it is not a bad method, but it's something that you have to work very hard. It's something that you have to make sacrifice for the interests. Sometimes too, people think consensus is when 70% or 80% have said this is what we want. That again may be done, that again may be a strategy against a particular candidate that may be strong, in that election. And so to push that candidate out, you may come by word of consensus, where some other people will say, look, I think 70% of us who have agreed we don't need to contest election. And then they now say, because 70% have said so, it is a consensus. No. But most cases, some people who put the issue of consensus do it for ulterior motive. They have a target. There's somebody they are targeting. So it is not as if consensus method is a bad arrangement, no. But sometimes it is used to make sure a particular candidate is not allowed, is not given the opportunity to express himself as herself, as the case may be.
So if you look at it as part of what the governors agreed on in Lagos State was that when they had the Southern Governors meeting, was the issue of the 2023 presidency and the zoning or the rotation arrangement. And the agreement at that meeting for the governors was that power should go to the South in 2023. You clarified earlier today, Governor, that on the issue of whether or not you are being picked as a running mate of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the former presidential candidate of your party in the 2019 presidential election. But since you are here with us and we have the privilege of talking to you, I'd like to know, I've seen in a lot of places the talks about whether or not you are in the race for the presidency in 2023. Can you tell us, Governor, are you running for president in 2023? President, I beg your pardon.
When is the term limit? Hold on. When is the term limit?
No, I didn't get that. I was asking if you are going to be running for president. Is it true what some people are saying, that you are running for president?
That is what I'm trying to answer. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Governor. Please go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm just trying to ask from you, when is the term limit in which a person can declare to run and not to run? Is there any particular time limit that you can declare so that let him not be saying that, oh, if you don't declare tomorrow, you may be late? So what time do you think that is the time limit within which a person can declare?
The window is still open. The window is still open, but some of your colleagues are already making their intentions known. And so we are hoping that maybe tonight you might be able to make your declarations too.
So if I want to declare to run, I won't do it before channel television. I will not do it before my people. I've always told people that everybody has his own strategy. If I want to run the election, I have my own strategy. If you want to run the election, you have your own strategy. No doubt, people believe by my performance that I'm likely to run. There's no doubt about the belief of people. But if I want to run an election, everybody will know that I want to run an election. I will tell Nigerians that today I'm declaring I want to run an election. It's not a question of me whether tell us if you want to run an election. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I can't run an election without properly looking at how the party is. And like I told you, I work as a team with people. And so it is when we have sat down and reviewed everything, and we believe that, look, yes, we think we can do this, we think we cannot do that. And that is the way I operate. So I don't operate in isolation.
So let me take you. We'll be hoping that when you consult with your people, we might be able to get the privilege of getting to know your intentions, especially when people are talking about you. And in fact, I've seen posters of your face on some posters of 2023 presidency. But I'd like to know where you stand at this moment, because what we're getting and the body language from your political party, PDP, is that the 2023 presidential slot is still thrown open to any region of the country. But you and your colleagues in the South had agreed in Lagos at your meeting of the Southern Governors Forum that the power should rotate to the South. What is your own personal take on that? Do you stand on that with your fellow governors from the South? That power should go to the South in 2023?
I don't understand. I don't understand when you say what is my personal position. I'm a member of the Southern Governors Forum, and Southern Governors Forum have taken a decision, and you are telling me what is my own personal opinion. At a meeting which I attended, and at a meeting whose decision was taken, I was there. What other personal position do you think I have? Assuming I'm not even in support of it, but the mere fact that the group, the association has taken a position, that is my position. You don't expect me to go against what the position of the Southern Governors Forum. It is not done. So my personal opinion is neither here and not there. I subscribe fully with the position of the Southern Governors Forum. There are no two ways about it.
The reason why I ask the question is the position of your political party, which is perhaps your major constituency, and of course, you're a member of the Southern Governors Forum too. So because your party has not really made it known, they said they've thrown it open, and that has caused a major debate in your political party, and that's why, as a leader of the in the PDP, I wanted to know where you stand, whether you stand with the PDP to throwing it open or with the Southern Governors Forum to say it must go to the South.
First of all, Shehu, you must get it right. I don't know where you are getting, where you are getting your information from. Whether you are getting your information from some aspirants whose soldiers are going about from one state to the other to tell them to say that no zoning. And therefore, that makes it that the party has said that no zoning. Now, understand that the Southern governors, or the people of the South, not even Southern governors, the people of the South are of the view that the presidency should come to the South this time around. Now, you must also understand in this issue of presidency, so many people have this life ambition that, look, I want to be a president. And so some of them will not allow reasons to even prevail that at this point in time, this is what it's supposed to be. What the party did when the issue of zoning of chairmanship came, the party said, look, the position of chairmanship has been zoned to so area. And you know, people in politics, the implication people have read is that by zoning the chairmanship, it is most likely that the presidency is going to the other side. And so people are beginning to say, no, we have not zoned the presidency. The party said, look, let's leave the presidency now. Let's finish with the issue of chairmanship. Before the presidency, the party will meet and take a position. However, even if the party meets, the governor from that zone or the people from that zone will still canvass that the position should be kept in the South. It does not mean whatever position at the end of the day that the party will take. But when the meeting is called, the people of the South will want to say, look, for justice to prevail, for equity and fairness, that they think this is what it's supposed to be. Then the other zone will also say, look, where you may be right, but we also think, based on this and this, it should be here. So, but at the end of the day, the party will be in a position to say, look, we must tell ourselves the simple truth. This is the way we think it should happen. And that is the way politics is played. I'm not carried away by people who have liabilities to the party when they go about to campaign, some of them to campaign on what they are going to do for the party, but instead of them to campaign on how the party will be united, instead of them to talk about how the party will win election in 2023, they begin to tell you how that aspirant is the best aspirant, as if they have put any exam for aspirants to come and for them to examine that based on this and this and that. I don't even know if you want to talk about presidency. For somebody of my kind, I would, by record, as a governor, as a minister, I don't even see anybody who would tell me that he is much more qualified than B. I don't think that is possible. So it is not good for anybody to begin to go and say, oh, my aspirant is the best of the aspirants. I don't think so. All I preach is that people should talk on issue. Nigeria has a problem. If they've given you the opportunity, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you are going to canvass your aspirant or your aspirants to be the one to be there. You should be able to tell them these are the things you are going to do if giving you the opportunity. So that is my own position. This issue of the party leaving it open or not is not idea or not. We must take a position at the end of the day. That is what I can say.
Okay, let me quickly, because I'd like to take you up on one of the issues you raised at the stakeholders meeting. But before I go there, Your Excellency, I would like to get your view, because your party has said that it wants to retake power at the center. He wants to rebuild Nigeria, and he wants to take out APC out of prominence in 2023. But the question is whether or not there are those characters and the quality that Nigeria wants, and Nigerians are looking at those who will lead them, or the person who will be the next president in 2023. Can you tell Nigerians tonight, Governor Wike, that your party has what it takes and it's ready to give Nigerians what the average Nigerian desire?
Shehu, let me take you back. When you say the kind of person Nigerians want, that will deliver. Assuming today I want to run for the office of the presidency, what quality do you think I do not have? Why do you think I cannot provide the right leadership for this country to move forward? So what you say, the kind of person Nigerians want, can we know what are the parameters? What kind of person, so that we'll be able to let you know that, look, if you say this and this and this, we have these people here. Take, for example, what leadership are you talking about? Saraki has been a Senate president. Saraki has been a governor. So what kind of qualities are you talking that somebody like Saraki does not possess? What kind of qualities of person that Tambawa does not possess? Someone who has been a speaker, has been a governor. What kind of qualities that you will tell me that Bala Mohammed does not possess? Former senator, former minister. I mean, so you should be able to tell me, what do you think Nigerians are looking at? Tell me, is it in terms of performance, the opportunities we have had? When I was a minister, what did I do? Well, as a governor, what have I done? You see, these are the parameters you should use, and not to say the kind of person Nigeria wants. What kind of person? What we want the problem today in this country? Leadership, who can provide leadership for this country? And that is all. So I don't know other parameters you may have in mind.
You raised a very, we just have a few minutes before break, and after the break, of course, I have one or two more questions for you. But before we go on that break, Governor, you raised some issues about what your predecessor or the administration before you did. A case in point is the issue of the aeroplane found in Germany, and some of the projects that was executed or not executed by your predecessor. But in summary of what you said today at that stakeholders meeting about what your predecessors did, how would you describe what they have done in office? Is this a failure? Is it a pass? But I mean, the question would be, if there are some kind of untoward activity or fraud, why haven't you gone to prosecute whatever activities that have been done under that government?
So when you say prosecute, first of all, you realize that this matter was challenged at the state high court, and the state won, and they went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal won, and they have gone to Supreme Court, and I hear that the matter will be coming up any moment from now. So we are law abiders. We don't just take the laws into our hand. That is on one part. And when you talk about whether there's anything untoward, see, the point people must understand is that I came into office and I said there was no handover to me, so that I would know what are the things the state did, what are the things they have not done, the financial status of the state, and the rest of it. There was no handover. And I said also that I was even denied the opportunity of having the vehicle for the swearing-in ceremony. And I said it was the former governor of Ondo State, Dr. Nyesom Wike, who had to send me a vehicle for a patrol of that swearing-in ceremony. It got to that point. And I said, as a government, just like I am today, I'm living in May. In 6 months' time, I should be preparing my handover note, knowing that my tenure is coming to an end. In 6 months' time, whether it is the successor is the person I supported or is not the person I supported. But the point is that as government, not personal, you must prepare a handover note. Take, for example, when Buhari came into office in May 29, 2015, you saw the former governor, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, handing over a document that is to look, Mr. President, this is where I stopped. This is the financial status of the country. This is this and that. And then Mr. President had to look at it and know where to begin from, right? Now, in this case, nothing was handed over to me. And I do know, as a chairman of council then, that under the administration of Dr. Peter Lee, he bought some aircraft, which are supposed to be asset for the state. And one of those aircraft is Legacy 600 jet. And then when I came into office in 2015, I never saw that Legacy 600. And it was through intelligence that we got to know that that aircraft was parked in Germany. And then we had to go and make inquiry. What happened? It was from there we were now told how the aircraft was brought in 2012 for inspection. And the highest inspection for any aircraft will be 6 months. So in 2012, right when the aircraft was parked there, to 2013, to 2014, to 2015, nothing happened. Nobody told anybody anything. And as I came in, there was no record by my predecessor to say, look, this thing is so place. But for intelligence, we have to find out that this aircraft was parked in Germany. And when I went to Germany, I spoke to the press. And then, speaking to the press, then I came to react that I'm playing politics, that there was a handover note to me. And that is very, very insulting. Very insulting. And you see,
Governor Wike, please, just allow us to take a short break.
Who from Ondo State said that 10 days to the end of the tenure that the governor told them to hand over to permanent secretary. Where does that happen? Where you hand over to the permanent secretary?
Let's take a breather.
Does that mean handing over to the chief executive who has taken over from office?
Let's take a breather, and I'll get your closing thought after this break. Stay with us. Plus, also, we'll touch on the issue of Edo State. When we return, Honorable Eric Okaka and Mr. Mwanta Adaze will be joining me after a conversation with Governor Wike. He's one of the elected members of the House of Assembly, and the controversies over the non-inauguration of some of the elected members there. Join us again, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Our concluding moments now with the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike. Your Excellency, I was asking you that question. Apologies that we had to go on that break. But I wanted you to explain all of these. But in summary, how do you describe the past government? Failed or passed? Go ahead.
Okay. It doesn't make any sense how I describe it. I mean, based on what I've told you, based on what I've said, would you say such administration has done well in terms of the assets of the state? Well, it is for the people to judge. If you come to Rivers State, find out from the Rivers people how they feel about the past administration. Because whatever I say now, you say because we're not in the same party, or because we're not in good times. But the point is, with these facts you have, judging from your own perspective, what would you say as an average Nigerian? What would they say? So the issue of whether you have done well or you have not done well is the people. But for me, I have told the people what we met, what we're meeting, and what we continue to see tomorrow. And it's for them to judge.
Your Excellency, Governor Nyesom Wike, Governor of Rivers, said, thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So tonight, we are going again to Edo State. And yes, there is a crisis in the politics of Edo State, especially the situation in the House of Assembly, the 2 years and counting. The dispute surrounding the suspension of 14 members of the Edo State House of Assembly remains unresolved. The affected members have appealed to the judiciary to expedite action on the matter and prevent what they term as an arrest of democracy. A pro-democracy group has petitioned President Muhammadu Buhari, the Chief Justice Mohammed Tanko, Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, and the President of the Nigeria Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, over the lingering Edo House of Assembly crisis, which has left 14 elected members on the sidelines and unable to offer representation to their constituencies. Tonight, we want to find out from the side of executive what is happening, from the side of some of those who are now on the sideline, what exactly is happening. The case is in court, we know that. A sub judice to touch on the meat of the matter, but what is the possible solution? Let's talk about this, everyone. I'm being joined by one of the 14 members, Honorable Eric Okaka. He's here with me in our Abuja studio. And virtually from Benin City is Mr. Adaze Mwanta, who is the Commissioner for Information of Edo State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on. Let me begin with you, Honorable Okaka. The case is in court, but you want an expedited action. Why don't you want to wait for the outcome of the court, of the case in court?
Thank you very much for that question. You know that the tenure of the House of Assembly is just 4 years. And as soon as the midnight inauguration was done, we headed for court because we knew that what was done was against the Constitution of Nigeria. And 2 years and 7 months, as we speak, the matter has not even gone into hearing. Each time there is a judge that is interested in handling the matter to ensure that he passes judgment, they will write one frivolous petition or the other so that the matter will be transferred from that judge. To the extent that even the last CJ of the state, when she saw the way the whole things were going, she insisted that, okay, this is going to be the last judge that will handle this matter. But as soon as she retired, and an artist CJ came on board, the matter pressed on him, and the matter was again transferred from the judge, who was ready to dispense with the matter.
Which court is it now, the case?
The case is in Edo State High Court.
So what are your fears about the matter?
Her fear, you see, her major, we are not after whether they will give judgment for or against us, because we know what is happening, and we know very well that they can go ahead and give judgment against the facts are well known to the whole world, but they can go ahead and give any type of judgment they like. But we'll go upstairs, but not giving judgment. They want, what they are looking forward to is that for the 4 years, there will be no judgment. After the 4 years has elapsed, then you now go, even if there's now judgment, it will now be judgment that is
who is doing this? Who is doing this? Who do you think is behind all of this?
Well, there is no other. It's the governor that is behind it.
Do you have evidence to that?
He has the Attorney General with him, and then they come to court and they make...
What do you think the governor of the state has to, in this matter? The governor of the state, if you accuse him of being behind this, why do you think he's doing this?
From the one, he has been behind it because it might interest you to know that I was one of those persons that were adopted that night and was forcefully inaugurated.
You were inaugurated?
Yes.
So why are you part of the 14 on the sideline?
I am part of the 14 because what was done was wrong. I have never heard where inauguration was done at midnight. Inauguration is a ceremony where you even invite people. Having won an election, you invite your people to come and say, come and celebrate with me.
When you say you were adopted,
yes.
I mean, that's some kind of kidnap.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Was it at a gunpoint? Did they put the gun to your head?
We were even marched into a waiting bus at gunpoint.
That's what happened?
That was what happened.
You know the implication of that? That's criminal.
I am saying this, I know I'm on air, on air. And I'm saying this.
They put a gun, there was at gunpoint, they marched you into the bus.
And I'm even telling you that, like the suit you are wearing, I dressed casually that day. They even forced a suit that was not on my own. They forced it on me. And when I was trying to resist, they threatened that they could kill me.
Let me allow the Commissioner for Information to respond to this. Mr. Mwanta, how do you respond to the allegations that the governor, according to Honorable Eric Okaka, is behind all of this, and a part of it is to delay the cause of justice, and aside that he was abducted? These are some heavy allegations against the government of the day.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sean. You know, they keep giving all kinds of tales. And, you know, it's quite sad that, you know, in a democracy, people who were elected to represent their people, this is the third year. It is because elections are approaching. That's why they just woke up from their slumber. All those things he's saying are very false. He said he was abducted. He was one of those that were inaugurated.
Oh, dear. He seems to be having connection issues with Mr. Mwanta. As soon as we're able to reconnect with him, please, I will get back to him. But he said that it's not true that you were abducted.
He was not there. I can tell you those
who were those who abducted you. Can you name? Do you have names of those who did it? And if you were abducted, we have not gone to court. It's a criminal offense.
You see, you know, I'm happy that you know that I am a lawyer, and I know how to fight for my rights. But there are some rights that when you start fighting for them, you might end up not getting exactly what you want. Like, for instance, now, people who are sworn to the Constitution to defend the Constitution are now the people that are violating the same Constitution. Imagine now a governor running a state with 10 House of Assembly members, contrary to Section 91 of the Constitution that says a House of Assembly shall not be less than 24 and shall not be more than 40.
Mr. Mwanta is back, and I want him to get back because of he's connecting with us virtually. Yeah. That's not the connection may not be as reliable. But there's one thing that is very critical. Who are those that abducted you? Can you name names?
Yes. I said I was adopted into the deputy governor's house.
Who abducted? Who led the abduction? Who did you see? Who are those behind it? You said it was at gunpoint.
Yes, there were a lot of security men all around there.
Who led them?
Well, I don't know their names. I don't know the names of the security men, but they were all on ground.
And what did they tell you when they were marching you into the bus?
A lot of things happened. You see, what happened was that on the 17th, after we waited for 10 good days, after the expiration of the 6th Assembly, and then there was no inauguration, we did a press conference. Immediately after the press conference, my leader, the leader I respect so much, called me and said, where are you? I said, well, we just finished a press conference. I said, okay, come and meet me in my hotel. I came and he said, that the deputy governor was accusing him that he was the reason why I was not following him. I said, what? I don't understand what you are talking about. He said, okay, can we go there and so that we can clear the air? You know, he's your friend. That was how we got into the place. And when we got there, they seized my phones.
All right.
They seized they seized my car key.
Who seized your car key?
The police.
Okay. At the deputy governor's house?
Yes.
Mr. Mwanta, now you've heard this side. I'd like you to respond to them, to those issues.
The truth of the matter is that the house was duly proclaimed. If he's not somebody that is used to lying, he didn't tell you that 3 matters are in court. The one is making so much emphasis and heavy weather of is the one in Edo State. How about the judgment that was given by the Federal High Court that declared that the proclamation was properly made by the governor? How about the matter they took to the Federal High Court that comes up this week, Thursday? You know, these people, they are just being chased by their past. They refuse to sit based on the election that brought them in because they felt that they must honor the wishes and aspirations of their godfather. How come they are now coming out to make noise when there's a matter in court concerning their declared seats which are vacant? So for me, I don't think at this point Nigerians will take these people seriously because the other members who were not there initially presented themselves for inauguration. The Edo State House of Assembly, of course, they talk about the fact that you have 24 members, but when 14 refuse to come, the House must move on. Once the quorum is met, the House can sit. The House has done a whole lot of things. The Chief Judge was cleared by the House. I, as a commissioner, was cleared by the House. So if some persons want to pander towards godfatherism, you allow them. It is because elections are around the corner. That's why they are now going everywhere. They went to Code of Conduct Bureau. A court is sitting over the matter. They are now going before an executive bureau. They are trying to use their so-called federal minds. But because Edo people have spoken, before the governorship election of September 19, 2020, these same persons were holding House of Assembly sitting in the house of the APC candidates. Are they now saying they are no longer members of that kangaroo House of Assembly? These are palace jesters. Nigerians cannot take these people serious. It's because they are trying to get tickets of the APC. That's why they just came from the blues. Where have they been? For the past 3 years, they have been in Abuja. I mean, that's the height of irresponsibility. That's the height
Commissioner,
of political truancy.
Commissioner, if I may quickly ask you this, just for a moment. There are a few things I'd like you to quickly, because of our time, I'd like you to quickly take on. Now, there's allegation that the government in Edo State is stylishly dragging the matter and using technicalities to delay the course of justice. How do you react to that quickly?
I don't think there are technicalities here. A judgment of the Federal High Court, which Edo State government does not control, has said that the House was duly inaugurated. Their seats were declared vacant, and the matter comes up on Thursday. The governor is not a member of the judicial arm.
No, it was not talking about the one that has been. It was not talking about the one that has been, the judgment that has been delivered and the case that has been settled. It was talking about the one at the State High Court, isn't it? Yes. The one at the State High Court.
The facts are similar. The facts.
How do you react to that?
And the court has given the judgment.
They keep changing the
Federal High Court gave a judgment. The matter in Benin is forum shopping. So we are not in a position because we are also parties to that matter. The judiciary is an arm of government, just the way the executive is an arm of government. The governor's job began and ended with the proclamation that was issued. And there's a judgment that says that proclamation was duly issued. They filed a matter in court. So you should be the one explaining what has happened to their matter in court. Not us, because we are parties to that matter.
So again, he made mention of how some of them were forcefully inaugurated and they rejected it. He went further to lay some criminal allegations against the deputy governor and the government of Edo State that they were abducted at gunpoint. This, I mean, you are a lawyer and you know the implication of that kind of allegation.
Nothing can be further from the truth. If he really was abducted, did he write any petition? The answer is no. How come 2 years after he just woke up from his slumber? All these things are just to get public sympathy. The question is, these people were around during the Edo 2020 governorship election, meeting in the house of their governorship candidates. They didn't bring any petition that he was abducted. I mean, these are just tales by moonlight. We've seen this a lot. He claims to be a pastor, but he's lying. The house of a pastor where they were meeting, I have graphic details of how these people met, having kangaroo sessions, and because elections are around the corner, they are here to deceive Nigerians. The truth is, their seats were declared vacant. The matter comes up on Thursday. So they should wait for the court in Abuja to give a judgment. As simple as that.
All right. Let me allow you, Honorable Okaka, to react to some of the things.
Yes. Well, I know he claimed to be a lawyer, and he should know better. All those things, if he's truly a lawyer. And like he said that I claim to be a pastor, that I'm lying. I cannot lie. That very night, I came out on video and I explained exactly what happened. The video is still there till tomorrow. It is not now that we are coming out to say, oh, because election is coming or whatever it is, that that is why we are now raising issues. I did a video, and I'm sure you have it in this your studio, where I came out clearly and I explained exactly what happened, that this was how I was adopted, and then I was forcefully inaugurated.
Now,
it was not me alone.
With what all of this is happening, you are on the sideline, 2 years running. You're not inaugurated. You can't represent your constituency. And the question is, how would this be resolved? How do you hope that this can be resolved? Political solution to it?
Well, the truth about it is that in trying to, there are so many ways these issues can be resolved. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. You have been in this profession for a very long time. You are well read. Have you ever heard where any inauguration was done by night? Have you read about it? I'm not saying whether you have seen it. Have you read about any inauguration done by night? Have you heard about inauguration where people are being forced to the extent that somebody wearing short knicker for inauguration?
Because, I mean,
so what I'm saying is that,
we're out of time.
What is right?
How
is
do you
right.
hope this?
Now,
what is your own solution suggestion?
Yes, the suggestion is that the people who ordinarily are supposed to talk to the governor and tell him what you have done is wrong, they are not able to stand up tall and tell the governor that what you have done is wrong.
If you are able to tell the governor, the solution out of this, what would you say to him?
For instance,
because we're out of time.
Yes, for instance now, the National Assembly, they investigated, they went to Edo State and they said no, issue a fresh proclamation. Go and do.
But there was a court judgment that
but,
from the state
but
government.
they went to Port Harcourt when there is a federal high court in Benin. They went to Port Harcourt because that is where they can buy a judgment. And the judgment there said they are barring the National Assembly
out of time
from interfering in the case. I'm surprised that Mata is quoting to say that they said the proclamation was the proclamation that was issued.
You have not even suggested the solution I asked you. But I'll allow Mwanta to give his own final thought. Mr. Mwanta, what solution do you think this can? Because some people might be suffering representation from the House of Assembly. What is the way forward from the government point of view?
INEC was to conduct elections to fill those vacancies. They went to court to tie the hands of INEC. So it's simple. They should withdraw the matter in court. But again, it will not be even smart for INEC to organize elections when we're having primary elections in 3 months' time. So the APC as a party should warm up for the primaries that will take place and bring responsible candidates, people that will not abdicate their duty and go and stay in Abuja, adding weight, staying in hotels. So democracy is serious business, and Edo must move forward. Without these persons, Edo must move forward. And that's why we are prepared for that election. And we are going to...
Adaze Mwanta, the Commissioner for Information at Edo State, and Honorable Eric Okaka, one of the 14 members on the sideline from Edo State. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Nyesom Wike. Bye for now.